Hello everybody, it's That Security. Today I wanted to talk about cracking. In the last video I talked about how an attacker can crack a password and how having a secure password is very important. And today I wanted to show you on the hacker side of what these people are going to do once they have access to your email and password. So this is just going to be some testing. Don't do this unless you are using a site like this site right here that allows you to do this kind of pen testing. So basically, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how hackers will take these databases that they dumped and they'll get their emails and passwords and it'll be in a list. And what it'll be looking like is basically test@gmail.com, and then it would be like this, and then some this would be like that, and then a bunch of different things, and this is the password for the account, and then this is the email for the account. And so what I talked about in the last video is how they can crack this password right here if it's a very insecure password, and how even if it's not insecure, they can use a dictionary attack and they can get access to this password pretty fast. And so today I wanted to show you what happens if I made an account on this site, which is just a testing site. They allow you to do some pen testing, and one of the things they allow you to do is cracking. So that's why I chose this. What I'm going to show you is that if on one of the passwords that I showed you that was super insecure, that took us about a second or two to crack, was 1100. And so I'm going to make an account that's going to look like just like this with 1100 as the password. And I'm going to show you how easy it could be for an attacker to steal this account for this imaginary website. But it would be a website like bank accounts, anything, streaming accounts, that's what they're going to target. So to start off, how this is done is first we need to get the login URL. So what you do is you click F12, and then we're going to put in a random ID and then a random password, and we're going to look at what the output is going to be. All right, so we get login failed screen. We're not worried about that. What we are worried about is the network tab and then what this little thing came up. So right now what we need is the request URL. So basically this is the URL that is for logging in. And so that's what you need to capture for this software. So the software I'll be using is called OpenBullet. This is what hackers usually use. It's a free open source tool on GitHub, but it's also great on the penetration side of you. And so we could help companies secure this, because this is a gigantic hack. This is what honestly most hacks are going to be, because it's just so simple. Anybody can do it. All they need to know is a baseline understanding of how websites and passwords work, and then they can crack into these accounts. So basically what they'll use is a thing called OpenBullet, and it's free online. Anybody can download it, but this is illegal. If we were making a config for, say, Netflix or Amazon, that's illegal. But since we're doing a website that allows it, we're fine. So I encourage you guys to follow along, but only use it on this site. Only create a config for this site, because anything else, it is illegal unless you have permission from that website. So anyway, so what we're first going to do is we're going to create a new config. We're going to name it YouTube video. Okay. And so we get this screen, and basically we're going to click this plus button, and then what we want is a request block, it's called. All these are different blocks. I can get into what the logistics are later, but right now this is going to be a very basic config. So all we're going to use is a request and a key check. So to solve CAPTCHA. So what this is also I wanted to talk about is, why do we have to use CAPTCHAs? So why do websites use CAPTCHAs when it's like, we think you're a robot, please click on the lion picture? Nobody really talks about why they need that, and people think it's for robots, which isn't half true. So basically it's for this. This is why CAPTCHAs are a thing, because of this software and other softwares obviously, but this whole concept is why we have CAPTCHAs. and it's not really a robot, it's more of a script. So basically what this will do is it's gonna try every single email password on the list that you have on a website and see if one of those credentials is correct, and then that's what's called a hit. And so that's going to be a email and password that they can go and log in. So basically what solve captcha is there's actually softwares and there's companies that there's this one company, I think it's 2Captcha or something captcha, and what they do is they offshore like workers from say India where they can pay very little, and they'll pay people to solve captchas all day. And so hackers will pay these people to solve captchas, and so they can hack into these quote unquote secure websites that just have captcha. So it's also captcha is not 100% foolproof, and a lot of companies think it is, and that's the issue. And there's also getting into softwares that can just crack the captcha itself. Like they can that's why captchas are always changing. But some captchas are actually insecure, and they do make softwares that can bypass them. So there's a lot of different stuff. All we really need to talk about, like I said, is request and key check. So first off, we're going to do a request block. And so the default URL is going to be google.com. But what we want is this parsed URL right here. So we're going to put that in there. Or not. Okay. Okay, so for some reason I did that, but all right, anyway. And then it says request method is going to be a post. So instead of hitting it a get, we're going to do a post method. And then what we're going to first do is go scroll down here to the custom headers. We're going to click enter. And we're going to find something that says, origin and refer. We're going to copy this. Did before. For some reason my copy and paste is not working, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to save this, make nice. Okay. And so we got that. And then what we're going to need to do is get the post data. So what this does is it's going to search this website for this thing that we put in here. And so what we're going to do is you do the payload and view source. So basically what this software is going to do here is it's going to check every single account that you put in. It's going to go to this URL. It's going to do a post method. And it's going to try and put this. So basically what we're going to do is put username, just like that, and password right here. So what this software is going to do is it's going to find where this username block should be and this password block, and it will correspond what you implemented. So you're going to have a word, the hacker is going to have a word list of a database that they dumped in. It's going to be a username and then a password. And what this website will do is it will get the username, put it in, and then the password, and then put it in. And so that's what we're going to capture right here. So what we want to do is, so right now all this is going to do is just check whatever email, whatever username, whatever password you put in, and it's going to do absolutely nothing. But what we're going to need to know is if an account is invalid or it is valid, and this is what a hacker is going to do. So we're going to put in something random, that, and then something random. We're going to go to credentials, and then we're going to click start. We're going to see what the output is going to be. Okay, so all of this for the hacker is, and us, our pretend hackers, is the only thing that's important to us is login failed. So that's what the website puts out when the login is failed. And as you can see, it's right there. But this is what it is on the HTML rather side of view, is login failed. So that's what we're going to have to copy here. So what we're going to do is create another block, and this is where the key check comes in. So basically what this does, it'll check for invalids, failure, and then a key, and then the source code, and then it contains, so it's going to check the source code, and it's going to see if it contains login failed. So that's right here, and then that will indicate that this login is invalid. So right now, this program, every single thing is going to be invalid. And anything that isn't invalid, it's going to not know what to do with it, so it's just going to throw it into a custom, or it's going to throw it into something random because it has no clue. So what the hacker is going to do is they're going to make a real account on this website, or whatever website they're trying to hack into. So Netflix, all this stuff. And keep in mind, there are tons and tons and tons of companies that it is just this basic. You can make it in 5 minutes and boom, you're cracking into people's accounts and stealing it. And I keep on saying Netflix because Netflix is one of them. Netflix is super, super, super insecure. And a hacker can make this config just in an instant. And there's a bunch of anime sites in particular are very, very insecure. And the websites and companies offer no CAPTCHA. They offer nothing. It's just laziness, and it's just they're not wanting to spend money on CAPTCHA because, of course, CAPTCHA costs money. So they're not going to do that because all they have to do on their end is just provide their service. They don't care about your information, and it's really sad. So what we're going to do, sorry to get off topic, but what we're going to do is put in a random user ID and like that. And then what the password's going to be is what we cracked before with the MD5 hash. It's going to be 1100. 1100 and then test at gmail.com. So it's going to be test and then 110 1100. Oh. That is 1100 1100. Oh my goodness. Everything's already in use. All right, let's do tested 5 and 1100 1100. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. All right, that's got to not be it. Let's see. 1100 1100. I'm astonished. All right, we're gonna do random stuff now. Now I'm mad. 1100 1100. Copy this because we're gonna need that. Okay, this is glitched. So stupid. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that, guys. See, even the professional hackers, they're stupid because they can be stupid. They can be like me. They don't know how to read user ID and they put it in nickname. So, like I said, tested. All right. 1100 1100. Okay, tested 12 1100. Freak out. Okay, there we go, guys. That was the hardest part, was making an account. That should be sad, because it is. Okay, 1100. So now what we're going to do is, this is a valid account, as we just made it. So we're going to see what this puts out. So it says location replace. So we know that this is different from what it was before. Look, if we put in something else, login failed. So we know that this is actually what will throw when it's valid. A lot of websites, it'll be just successful. This website's supposed to be pretty bad because it's supposed to just be a place that you can pen test. But anyways, this is what is different, so that's what you're going to copy. So just like the login failed, we're going to do contains, and then contains location replace instead of login failed. So again, what this will do is the software will try all these accounts, and if login failed is in the source code, let's see, login failed. So this is an invalid account, and so it'll just go to the next account, and let's see. Oh, location replace. That's a hit. That's a valid account right there. Someone could go in and log into that. So what we're going to do is save this. And that's all you need, 2 blocks. Obviously, this is a very insecure website because that's, well, the purpose. But you'd be surprised, tons of companies, it's only going to be 2 blocks. Super, 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 super easy. And it's sad. And someone needs to change it. And that person's going to be me. Probably not. But maybe if someone gives me a shot. So we're going to put in YouTube test. Oh, wait, no. We need to create a word list. Forgot about that. I was getting a little ahead of myself. So right now I have just a bunch of random stuff, but what we want is, I completely forgot of hacker skills. And that's the valid account, so we're going to put that valid account right there. This is just a simulation. What the hacker will have is millions and millions of lines of real email and passwords that they stole from a database that was insecure. So I might go into how they dump the database. I might try to find a website that'll allow that. But honestly, all I know is SQL injection, which the hacker is not going to use an SQL injection anymore. It's not the early 2000s. SQL injection's pretty much not a thing anymore, and any website that has been dump through SQL injection. Kind of already has. But SQL injection will use, it's called dorks. And basically a hacker will try and, if they wanted a bunch of Netflix accounts, they'll make a bunch of keywords for Netflix, and then there's programs like SQL Map, which I might get into. I do know a little bit about SQL Map, which I might showcase. I'm not sure though yet. And then they'll get a bunch of vulnerable URLs, and then they'll go and it'll automate, and it will inject into the SQL database, and it will steal all these emails and passwords. And so basically, I was in a SQL course actually, and we talked about SQL injection and how easy it was, and we made our own database, and we purposely made it insecure. And a lot is just that it would, if SQL injection would be possible, the developer kind of just sucks, and they're not using prepared statements, it's called. So the hacker can just input whatever they want, and basically what it does is it tricks the database into giving them information that they're not supposed to have through a bunch of different commands, which I might get into, I might not. So stay tuned. But anyways, let's get back to the scheduled program. So like I said, this would be a bunch of real emails and passwords, and then right here's our hit. But on the hacker side, they don't know that this one's the real one. So what we'll do is we'll go into a word list and we'll add it. YouTube test. We want credentials, and then we'll go to the runner, and we'll put YouTube video 1 because that's what we called it, and then YouTube test, which is the word list, and then a proxy list. So hackers, they know that a website, once they see a bunch of requests from one IP, they'll block it. It's an automatic thing that usually happens. This website is for just testing purposes, so they're not going to do it, but almost every website will not allow you to check this many accounts on one IP. So what they'll use is a proxy list, and all it is just fake IP addresses that they can use, kind of like a VPN, and they'll just have a list of a bunch of them, and so it'll just, every time it gets banned, it'll just go to the next proxy. So that's what proxies are. But this website, like I said, is just for testing purposes, and it's super insecure, so we can just click start, and it'll go through them. So we got a bunch of bad accounts because this one's obviously not valid. And then once it comes across the good one, yep, we got a hit. Wow, guys, look at that. So if this is just a simulation, but if this was a hacker trying to get into a bank account, right there and right then, they are into the account, unless there's two-factor authentication, which obviously bank accounts are going to have. But things like Netflix and a bunch of streaming services, a bunch of gaming services, they don't usually use two-factor authentication. And if they do, it's super insecure and it can be bypassed, or they use an email two-factor authentication, which is terrible because some emails, unlike Gmail is great, and every time you log into a different IP, it's going to throw a two-factor authentication to your phone. So Gmails are almost uncrackable just for the email itself. But things like Yahoo is pretty insecure, Outlook's pretty insecure, Yandex is pretty insecure, and a bunch of people use those. And so they can hack into the email, and then they can just get the two-factor authentication code. So they're into all of your accounts on the email. But anyway, yeah, if you want a good email, definitely use Gmail. Gmail is pretty good. And so the hacker got this data. They're all excited. They're about to log in and steal this person's stuff. They're going to go to this. They're going to log in. And then what they're going to get is login successful. And so if this was a Netflix account, they completely take over it. They can change the passwords. They can buy a bunch of stuff on your card. If it's like a subscription, they can just spend a bunch of money and it'll just allow it to happen. And it's really sad, but that's how easy it is. And then a seasoned hacker can make a config for just about any website, and it's really bad. And it comes down to, like I said before, is websites being lazy and money hungry, and they won't implement things that cost money. So just like this website and many other websites, there is no CAPTCHA like I talked about, but I also said that CAPTCHAs aren't foolproof, and they're not. But it takes a seasoned hacker to be able to bypass CAPTCHA, and it just costs them a lot more money. So it's just a very, very good layer of security. But websites don't care about security, and they will just not implement it just because it'll save them a few $1,000s a month. And when people's accounts get hacked, all they say is, "Well, it's your fault. Don't use insecure password. It's not our problem." But it is their problem. And if they really cared about their people, they would implement things, and they wouldn't make it so easy for a person to hack into accounts. Just like Gmail. Gmail is great, and you can't hack into a Gmail account. No hacker can really do that unless they are stealing everything. And then the only way that a hacker is going to get into a Gmail is if they rat a user. So they basically send malicious software to someone, they open it, and then they gain remote access. So they're just only reason why they're getting to the Gmail account is because they're basically just you. On Gmail's perspective, it's just you. They're controlling your computer and logging into your stuff. But that's not Gmail's fault. That's people's fault for downloading random stuff. But it is like Netflix, a bunch of gigantic Fortune 100 even web companies just don't care enough to implement this stuff. And it's really sad, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys learned some things about security, and it just goes to show how easy it is for hackers to hack, and children can do it, anybody can do it, and you guys should petition these companies that don't care about your data, and hopefully they'll make a change. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.